saw this happy little video.
People love blaming women for choosing the wrong man, but we never blame the man for faking an entire personality just to win her over.
It's false. We have all sorts of terms we use for men who misrepresent themselves in relationships. Narcissist, manipulator, liar. And while I don't believe in clinically diagnosing people, you hear these words thrown around constantly when a man pretends to be something that he's not. Now, on the other hand, what do we call a woman that misrepresents herself? Oh, what did you do to her to make her act that way? Oh, she hit you with her car? Well, what did you do? What did you do to deserve that? How did you treat her? Were you nice to her? Did you listen to her? We always justify, a woman treating a man badly. And you'll even see videos like scrolling just casually. Oh, I would never be on a man's side, no matter what he did. It's part of being a girl's girl or whatever, because I see that constantly where it's like, if you disagree with a woman, even if you're constructive about it, you'll get hate in the comments for that. And maybe that's not the best representation of that phrase, but what I'm getting at is the women that genuinely don't think other women do wrong. So there's no accountability being held to the women. And at what point, when we're in bad relationships, when we ignore the red flags, that we take some responsibility for that? Because you see tons of women who are in terrible relationships. They know how terrible he is. She talks badly about him to her friends constantly instead of actually taking action. But she stays with him because he's paying bills. Or she stays with him because she's too scared to leave. At that point, should we be holding those women accountable for willingly staying in bad relationships? And then when they get out of it, they blame him for everything. They don't take any responsibility for the downfall of the relationship. And then they end up in another bad relationship. And then they repeat the process until eventually they get bitter. And then they're making all these videos on, I hate men, men are trash, where have all the good men gone? We see this constantly. Not only this, but this narrative erases women's agency. Are we passive victims with no discernment? No. We're capable of seeing those red flags. We can read patterns. We can have intuition. But no, is the whole world supposed to treat us like children? I hate that, because we spent so many years trying to fight for equal rights, but now we're trying to go right back to where it's like we're not held accountable for our actions. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't pick and choose what you want. Men are consistently blamed for love bombing or leading her on, saying what she wanted to hear, future faking. But we see women deliberately leading men on for free meals because they don't want to buy their own piece of chicken. And it's funny because choosing a person to spend your life with, it's kind of a skill. A skill where a lot of women don't want to learn on how to attract a good man or do the things they need to keep a good man in their lives. Instead, they would just rather throw the responsibility on men instead and just blame them. Okay. And for a lot of men, they hear this argument and they're thinking, okay, I'm responsible for being authentic. And I would agree with that, yeah. But she's not responsible for choosing wisely. Because almost every man you talk to, it's like, have you been put in the friend zone before? Yeah. So there's so many good men ending up in the friend zone. For what? For what reason? And instead, she ends up with someone that treats her like crap, and he's sitting there like, what? Now, I'm not saying it's okay for a man to change his whole personality and pretend to be something he's not, and the women's that fall for that, heck no. No. That's not okay. You need to be honest and authentic, but it needs to go both ways. Women need to be doing the same thing.